Dylan Moran joining me from Dubai. The weather looks a bit better there than what it is in Ireland at the moment, Dylan, yeah?
Yeah, it's a little bit better, just a little bit. Very nice weather over here, Nigel. Just soaking it all up. It beats the weather back home for sure.
Tell me how it came about that you're there. Obviously, at this point, everybody knows you're over, you're sparring with Conor McGregor, you're helping him get ready for his fight with Dustin Poirier. But how did it come about? You were in Portugal and now you're in Dubai. How did it all start?
I was after winning a fight in Spain. I was in a hotel in Madrid, and I woke up to a phone call, and it was Dylan. Congrats on the win. Would you be available to go and spar Conor McGregor in Portugal? And obviously, I didn't have to think twice about it. And I was like, yeah, of course, I'd be delighted to. A week later, I was on a plane to Portugal. I spent nearly 3 weeks out there sparring Conor and training with him. Came home for a week for Christmas, and then I'm in Dubai here the last week or so, maybe 10 days, and I'm here for till the end of January.
What's it been like? It's surely a bit of a different experience to what you've had before.
Yeah, an amazing experience, all around amazing experience. Being around Conor, training Conor, sparring him, everyone that's involved in his team, the people from all walks of life. So it's a very interesting one. I'm delighted to be a part of. And yeah, I'm just soaking it all up and enjoying it all.
Tell me a bit about the training, because I don't doubt it's a bit different in terms of an actual sparring approach to what you've had before, where, any sparring you would have done primarily is for the boxing ring, and you haven't been sparring someone really who's been preparing for an MMA fight. So I'm sure from a technical and from an actual practice point of view, it's different altogether.
Yeah, so they just said to me, look, we need you to kind of mimic Dustin to the best you can. And obviously I've took the job seriously. I've studied Dustin, and I've been giving Conor some great sparring. The coach said that, like, in shadows of the spar, I thought it was Dustin in the ring. He said you were the man for the job. So yeah, and on top of that, the sparring has been very, very exciting stuff. It's that sparring where the gym is on their feet clapping at the end of it. Yeah, very enjoyable for myself. Me and Conor as two fighters gel in the ring. Great energy, great flow, and like I said, it's pay-per-view action in there. It's really, really good. And yeah, just delighted to be a part of it.
Do you find there's moments now, obviously you're up against one of the world's top fighters, and it's obviously, as we said, it's a different experience. How much of an increase in intensity have you found sparring with Conor?
I was the one kind of pushing the pace. If you seen, I put a message up, Conor messaged me, he said, you're coming at me like nobody has before. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going, yeah, because that's what Dustin is going to do. And like I said, I've been trying to hit the nail on the head in terms of mimic him. And I've been getting it right so far. I've been putting pressure on Conor, applying the pressure, because that's how the fight's going to go. Dustin's going to come forward, Conor's going to counter punch him, and I think Dustin's going to go down.
Well, look, I hope you're right, and I'd say he's feeling the same way. Tell me, you'll often see when it comes to boxing and MMA, there's that bit of a healthy rivalry. Would you have always been an MMA fan? Is it something you've drawn into over the course of time, or is it a totally new world for you?
Conor McGregor, before I knew him, he knew me, got me into the UFC, and I think that goes for a lot of people. He put the UFC on the map in not only Ireland but the world, and I'd never really watched it until Conor McGregor came about, and ever since then I kind of took a little bit of an interest in it, and anytime Conor was fighting I was definitely tuned in. Obviously now I'm beginning to respect it a lot more. I see the training that goes into it, and the dedication to the craft of it, and yeah, it's a great sport.
Come here, tell me about you and your year that's been, because you had a busy year. You came away with all wins, which, going into the year, you couldn't really ask for a whole lot more. Nonetheless, bit of a weird year, bit odd in terms of travel, in terms of how you can train with COVID. But at the end of it, you come away with, I think, the results you were looking for.
Yeah, I think it's been a weird year for everybody. It's definitely been one for me. It started off as a disaster year, and it's ended up being, you couldn't write it, like it's a bit crazy, really. But yeah, in terms of my career, things couldn't be going better. I'm in a great position at the moment. Yeah, look, I'm sat on a balcony in Dubai training with Conor McGregor. How much better can it get, really? And yeah, I'm just soaking it all in and enjoying the moments.
If I didn't ask you now, I'd probably lose my job, so I'd have to ask you. I don't doubt your phone is a bit busier this week than what it was about 3 or 4 days ago. Now, maybe for the people who aren't on top of their social media world, we'll give them a little bit of an intro. So Jake Paul is famous for being the brother of a YouTuber, essentially. He became a YouTube celebrity himself. Logan Paul is the brother and Jake Paul is the younger brother. And Jake Paul started developing a bit of an interest and the early days of what he would probably tell you is a professional boxing career. Now, I'm not sure would many professional boxers like yourself want to really agree with his stance on that. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
and you're training with Conor McGregor, you're in Dubai, and Jake Paul starts talking about you online. And I'll leave you fill in the gaps from here, I suppose.
Yeah, I sparred Conor a few days ago, and my nose was bleeding in the spar, and there was a picture put up, and I was covered in blood. Like I said, the sparring was very, very exciting, and I went to bed the night after, and I woke up. We trained at 4 o'clock in the morning over here, so I woke up and I'm still half asleep, and my little sister messaged me and goes, "I'd say your head is wrecked," and I'm like, "What's she on about?" And I look at my phone, and there's hundreds and hundreds of notifications. Jake Paul has put a video up of my loss in America, and the video basically went viral all over the internet. Yeah, it's gone worldwide, and that's it really, you know. I was pissed off about it, and I replied to him, offering him doghouse rules in the Mayweather gym. You see, I wouldn't be after Jake Paul's money. I'm pissed off about what he done on the internet, and I'm that kind of guy. If you look for a fight with me, you're going to get one. And that's it. I don't need no contracts or big events or anything like that. You know, when you do stuff like that, you have to be held accountable for it. Well, that's how it would be with me anyway. And yeah, this YouTube for a spoiled America put me all over the internet. And yeah, I put my offer on the table, and as I thought, we have heard nothing back.
Yeah, well, we'll hope that changes, I suppose. Maybe we don't hope it changes because you would have to tell me because I won't want to assume. Maybe you want to stay away from that kind of thing, and it's fights for the sake of fights, and like clearly it would be if yourself and him were to meet in the ring, it'd clearly be financially very beneficial to you, but maybe from a professional advancement, maybe not so much. Like, what way would you be leaning? Are you looking or hoping to be taking on higher caliber fighters, or are you in it to make money, or is somewhere in the middle maybe?
I think I'm too real for all that bollocks, to be honest with you. I'd rip Jake's head off if I seen him and crack on my own career. I wouldn't be chasing him for the money. I'd be chasing him to back up what he done and how he was acting on the internet.
Yeah.
Put that to bed and just crack on my own career. Yeah. It's nothing to be laughed at. This fight game is it's a mad business, and I know firsthand what goes into it. And to see some idiot, that's all he is in America, slating fighters left, right, and centre on the internet and thinking he can get away with it. There's something not right about that.
Okay. I want to take it back for 1 second to something you said a moment ago. Training at 4 o'clock in the morning. Is that because it's so hot over there, or is there a different reason, or is it to match the time frame when the fight will be going on? How does that one work?
Yeah, so that's just getting Conor's body clock ready for the fight. So his body will be used to performing at that time when the fight comes around. Although the fight isn't at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's at 10. But whatever system they've got set up, it's to wean him into being performing for 10 o'clock in the morning.
Where will you be on fight night then when it comes? Are you part of the backroom team? You're not part of the corner, I'm assuming, are you?
No, I'm not part of the corner, but I'll be there. I'll be there watching. I'm really looking forward to it. Haven't been involved in the camp. Now I'm looking forward to the performance more so than ever from Conor McGregor. I think Dustin Poirier is handmade for Conor. Firsthand, I know how he's performing. He's just a totally new guy, rejuvenated, so to speak. He's had a year off. I think it could have done him the world of good. And them shots that Conor lands with his hands is handmade for Dustin Poirier.
As you mentioned it, how do those shots feel? Surely you've taken a couple now in sparring.
Yeah, I've taken a couple of them.
Yeah.
You know, the hype is real. The power is there. The power is there. I can vouch for that.
I suppose there's a big difference with 12 or 14 ounce training gloves compared to 10 ounce gloves in what will be the weight of the gloves in the fight.
Hey, this is it, you know. He's hitting me with them big boxing gloves, and I'm thinking, if this was them small gloves, it'd be a different situation. And that's why I think when he lands on Dustin Poirier, I think Dustin's just handmade for Conor's boxing. When he does land, I think Dustin goes down.
Last thing for you, Dylan, before I leave you go. Haven't had this experience, and it's not over yet, obviously. You still have a bit more than a week to go. Do you think it's something that you'd ever put your foot into the cage yourself and try your hand at MMA, or would you focus solely be on boxing?
That's after been mentioned to me a good couple of times this week. Like I said, the sparring has been top notch, and there's a lot of people watching it. So there's a few people who've spoke to me, and yeah, it's something that I could definitely think about. I've kickboxed before. I won 3 world titles kickboxing, fought all around the world. So it's just the kind of ground game I'd have to work on. But it is definitely an option and one that I'm open to thinking about.
Dylan, I'm sure we'll talk to you again before the fight. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah.
I know you're very busy. I appreciate it.
Nigel, the pleasure's mine. Thank you.
Thanks a million.